Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, broadcasting, as you can see, remote. However, Jeffrey Mosier is down in our studios at the Capital Region International Airport, and we are going to stay here in the Lansing area. And Tim Daman joins us, an old friend and president and CEO of the Lansing Regional Chamber of Commerce. And let me start out not necessarily by welcoming you to the show, although that's always the case, but congratulating you. You had your 18th annual celebration of Regional Growth Awards this week, and that went incredibly well.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chris. We did. It's you talk about sustainability of a program, and to be in the 18th year of this particular one, where we're recognizing businesses for their growth and investment in our region, it's pretty special. It's always one of all the activities and programs and educational pieces we do and whatnot. It's always one of the most enjoyable for our team, for sure.
You know, it's a great highlight, and the one thing I love about it, Tim, is it shows everybody there's progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that, because over the years that this thing has kind of manifested itself in collectively $3 billion in economic contribution.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that, because in 2005, when we started this, that was exactly why. There was a tremendous amount of growth happening in our region, and there was very little coverage of that. And so our couple members of our board of directors at that time had said, you know what, we have some dollars left in some marketing budgets, and we would like to try to do something about this economic growth that's occurring here. And you know what, the funny thing is I was looking back as we were preparing for the program this week, and in those first 3 years, I think we recognized like 25 businesses, because we didn't know the sustainability. So like, you know what, the first year we had 8 businesses up there. And so, but it's evolved and it's grown, and it's been such a rewarding piece. And to your point, it allows us to kind of tell a story. This year we had an opportunity to introduce a new company, a German company called ATESTEO. Their North American headquarters in East Lansing, and a great opportunity to introduce them to our community. And so it's been a great platform for that, and we've had tremendous support from from our partners and the business community throughout all those years.
You know, it's interesting. One of the things I did hear you guys mention other organizations like LEAP who are all a part of this. And one of the things I think that has been noteworthy and added to our progress here is kind of the coalitions that are being built, and the groups that are working together, as opposed to this is my territory. And
yeah, without question. You know what, and you mentioned LEAP, and Bob Trezise, President CEO of LEAP. Bob and I actually, we went to high school together. We're a year separated. He's a year older than me, by the way. So, but we're a year separated, and but we've known each other a long time, and there's a friendship there, and there's mutual respect. And I said this to Bob afterwards, without the work that him and his team are doing every day, we don't get to have this type of program and celebrate the growth, because there's such an integral part of all of these projects that get put together. And whether it's the attraction piece or it's the retention and growth that we see as well in the community here.
Well, both those things are equally important. And of course, retention is maybe more cost effective because it's less expensive to keep a company than to bring one here. Hey, let's talk a little bit about some of the groups that were recognized. You talked about ATESTEO, Michigan Community Capital.
Yeah, you know what? So development company, and they redeveloped the old Temple building over in Old Town. And so that historical building, I don't know how back it goes, maybe 100 years, but it's old, historical. They brought life back to that, and kind of helping to continue that growth in Old Town here in Lansing. And so we're really excited about that. And again, it was an opportunity, I think, to introduce them to the community. I don't think there's really, they're not really known. They've done a number of projects around the state, but it was a great opportunity to highlight their work here in Lansing.
Yeah, it really was. MSUFCU, who's kind of a standard and part of everything, but still, this is part of the retention thing. Let's give them some honors.
Yeah, without question. April and her team, they the community support that they have is amazing, and what they did downtown there with their new building and continuing that I kind of call it renaissance there in downtown East Lansing, but really making East Lansing into a big city, right? With some of the developments we've had there, and MSUFCU is a big part of that for sure.
I tell people, if you haven't been down Michigan Avenue in East Lansing in the last 5 years, you may find that you don't recognize it at all because of the growth that's happened there. Neogen, another great corporation in the area, but again, reinvesting
to the tune of $100 million, and right, it's an acquisition of a 3M business unit as well, and they're integrating that into Lansing. In fact, from our offices here in downtown Lansing, you can see the cranes in the sky. That's how close it is, and really kind of getting manufacturing back into our urban core here. And I always say this with Neogen, they were tech transfer before anybody knew what tech transfer was, and what Jim Herbert and his team has done there over the last 40 years is flat out amazing.
Yeah, it is. Listen, we got about 30 seconds. Shyft Group.
Shyft Group EV platform, a lot of the specialty niche vehicles that they're doing around the delivery service, and really growing that EV platform, and a company that's really, you talk about innovative and transformed since they were founded, a number of, 40, 50 years ago, is significant as well.
Yeah, well, you really showed off the area, and that's what you guys do at the Lansing Regional Chamber of Commerce. Tim Daman, President and CEO, thanks for joining us, buddy, and thanks for those recognitions.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.